Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss the last topic, that was CNS stimulants and nootropics. As I have given you the assignment for this topic, so today we'll discuss about the CNS stimulant and the nootropic. So what is CNS stimulant? It stimulates that means these drugs these are the drugs that is stimulating the CNS. How it is stimulating? It is stimulating the CNS, and we'll focus how it is stimulating the CNS. Okay, these are the different types. Okay, there are different types. So basically it can increase the level of chemicals we all know, like dopamine, like dopamine, norepinephrine. So it increases the level of dopamine and norepinephrine in the synapse. How we also know, when these chemicals basically uh, increase, it causes what? Psychosis and mania. So mania and psychosis, which are basically uh, overactiveness of the overactiveness overactiveness of the brain, due to the increased level of these chemicals in the synapse. The brain activity is increased and overexcitation of the neurons occurs. So so these drugs, today we'll discuss the drugs that is causing increasing the level of, that means the drugs that is increasing the level of chemicals, that is norepinephrine and dopamine, and it is also stimulating the CNS. Okay, next we'll go for the nootropics. First we'll discuss about the CNS stimulant. Okay, so let's uh, start with CNS stimulant. Okay, CNS CNS stimulant. So CNS stimulant is classified into three types. One is respiratory stimulant, psychomotor stimulant, and the last one is convulsion. Convulsion, we all know, that is induces what? That is induces which disease? That is related to epilepsy. One drug is there that is PTJ, that is pentanyl tetrazole. Okay. Pentanyl tetrazole basically induces epilepsy. So in epilepsy, we also know that in epilepsy there are also increasing of neuronal firings That means it is also stimulating the CNS. And some drugs, some agents are causing respiratory stimulants. Some agents are causing psychomotor stimulant. That means stimulation of psychomotor conduction. And some agents are means stimulating respiratory system. Okay, so uh, that means respiratory system. In this respiratory stimulants, these drugs basically stimulate respiratory center of brain. Okay, these drugs stimulates the respiratory center of brain. Okay, so let's start with the respiratory stimulants. Okay, let's start with the respiratory stimulants. Okay, this is the respiratory stimulants. So what happened? For example, under respiratory stimulants, one drug is there, that is doxapram. We'll study how the mechanism of action of doxapram. we all know this is what? This is neck. Okay, neck, gala. This is neck. Okay, in the neck there are some artery, and that artery is called carotid artery. Okay, this is carotid artery. In the carotid artery there are some receptors called carotid chemoreceptor. Okay, there are some arteries. In that arteries there are some receptors, and these receptors are called what? Carotid chemoreceptors. Okay, so what is carotid chemoreceptor? What is carotid chemoreceptor? It basically, these are the receptors. That means it will receive some stimuli. So what stimuli it will receive? When there is a low level of oxygen inside the body, or increase demand of oxygen, that means during the sympathetic stimulation, or if there is changes in the partial pressure of carbon dioxide or partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, or if there is any hypoxia, that is hypoxia. Okay, one is hypoxia, increased demand of oxygen, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, partial pressure of oxygen. So these chemicals, these parameters, all these parameters will stimulate all these parameters will stimulate carotid chemoreceptor. Understood? That means this will stimulate this one. Understood? That means, for example, if a person, for example, uh, if a person is having ischemia or hypoxia, this is a stimulus. It will stimulate what? Chemoreceptor. Yes or no? It will stimulate the chemoreceptor that is present in the carotid artery. So when the chemoreceptor, that means it is oxygen level is less, so this will stimulate the chemoreceptor, and this will further it will stimulate what? It will stimulate the vasomotor center and respiratory center of brain. There are some in the brain. Understood? It will stimulate. That means, first is, if a person is having hypoxia, it will give a signal to carotid chemoreceptor. It will stimulate the carotid chemoreceptor, and again this chemoreceptor will further give a signal to the vasomotor center and the respiratory center of the brain, that is present in the where? Midbrain. Okay, sorry, not midbrain. It is present in the medulla oblongata. Okay, it is present in, that means it is present in medulla oblongata, that is the brain stem. Okay, it is present in brain stem. Understood? So if you see if you see in a simple manner, like if you see in a simple manner, there is less oxygen. This will stimulate chemoreceptor, that is carotid chemoreceptor. Okay, it will stimulate the carotid chemoreceptor, then again it will stimulate the vasomotor center or respiratory center of brain stem. Understood? It will stimulate this region in the brain stem. So when this region gets stimulated, what will happen? It will stimulate the heart. It will stimulate the what? It will stimulate the bronchus. It will stimulate the bronchus, that means it will cause bronchodilation. And it will increase the heart rate. Understood? So the first step is the oxygen is less. It will give a signal to the carotid artery chemoreceptors in the carotid, so the receptors get stimulated. The receptors in the carotid artery, that is carotid chemoreceptors, get stimulated, and it will give signal to the vasomotor center or respiratory center of the brain stem. Next it will give, as the brain, this area gets stimulated, it will stimulate the heart. It will stimulate the heart, increase the heart rate, and it will cause bronchodilation. And when there is a bronchodilation, we all know that means the oxygen will increase, the intake of oxygen will increase, and when there is increase in heart rate, and the blood supply will increase. In this way it is worked. Okay, in this way it is worked. So basically uh, today, as we are focusing the drug, that is doxaprem, what will be the MOA of doxaprem? So doxaprem is stimulating which region? Chemoreceptor, that is carotid chemoreceptor. And as the chemoreceptors get stimulated, it will stimulate the vasomotor center and the respiratory center. Understood? It will stimulate the vasomotor center and the respiratory center. That means it will stimulate, it will causes what? It causes bronchodilation, and it also increase the, that means this part is for brain stem, brain. So that means the doxaprem here is stimulating the brain. In this way it is stimulating the respiratory center. That's why the doxaprem comes under respiratory stimulants. It also increase the heart rate. Okay, and ultimately it is a CNS stimulant, we all know. So this is the mechanism of action of doxaprem. First it will, after administration, doxaprem will stimulate the chemoreceptor, carotid chemoreceptor. Then it will stimulate the brainstem, that is vasomotor center and the respiratory center. Then it will cause bronchodilation and the CNS stimulation. That means the doxaprem is a CNS stimulant. It is causing respiratory stimulation. That's why doxaprem comes under. That's why doxaprem comes under what? Doxaprem comes under. So that's why doxaprem is respiratory stimulants. Why it is respiratory stimulants? We all know, because it is stimulating vasomotor center and the respiratory system center in the brain, and it is causing bronchodilation. Understood? So this is all about the doxaprem, the mechanism of action of the doxaprem, that comes under CNS stimulants. Okay, so as we have discussed, in the CNS stimulant, we have discussed of different types, like, okay, so CNS stimulant are of different type. One is respiratory stimulant, that is doxaprem. That is doxaprem. Another is psychomotor stimulants. So under psychomotor stimulants, the drugs comes under amphetamine, methylxanthine, amphetamine and methylxanthine. Amphetamine and the methylxanthine. So now we'll discuss about this psychomotor stimulant, amphetamine and methylxanthine. Okay. So let's start. That is psy sorry psychomotor stimulant, that is amphetamine or methylxanthine. So these two drugs, we'll see the mechanism of action. So we'll see the MOA, that is mechanism of action of amphetamine. How the amphetamine is causing CNS stimulation. Okay. So that is MOA of amphetamine. Okay. Okay. This is a, we all know this is presynaptic neuron. These are let's draw it in bigger way. So these are what? These are chemicals. Chemicals or we can say neurotransmitter, that is containing in the vesicles. This is the presynaptic neuron that is containing in the vesicles, and these are chemicals. Maybe it can be norepinephrine or dopamine. So as we have discussed in the neurohumoral transmission of norepinephrine or dopamine, so chemicals are containing in the vesicles. So these are containing in the vesicles. So what is this? These are the transporter: vesicular monoamine transporter. These are what? These are transporter. Okay, these are transporter. So containing norepinephrine and dopamine. So what it will do, what this amphetamine do? Suppose these are amphetamine drugs. These are what? Amphetamine drugs. So whenever the drug you will give, the drug will enter through this transporter. This is also a transporter. This is also a transporter. So whenever you give the amphetamine will enter into the presynaptic neuron. You have seen, these are the presynaptic neuron, the amphetamine drugs. These are the drugs. Okay. So amphetamine enters the presynaptic neuron and it will enter inside the vesicle. It will enter inside the vesicle. Suppose if I draw in a clear manner, suppose this is suppose this is a vesicle, that is the presynaptic vesicle, presynaptic neuron, sorry. Suppose this is a presynaptic neuron containing the vesicles, and this is the transporter. This transporter is called norepinephrine or dopamine transporter. Okay, this is suppose the post synaptic neuron containing the what receptors. Okay, so these are what these are norepinephrine or dopamine. Okay, these are norepinephrine or dopamine. It is having one transporter. That transporter is called as, this transporter is called as what? Fascicular monoamine transporter, or you can say this is VMAT, that is vascular monoamine transporter. So it is used to, the neurotransmitter is used to comes out and it will bind here. Usually it will come out and it will bind in the receptors. So whenever you give amphetamine, these are amphetamines. So amphetamine will enter through this channel and it will change the pH in the vesicles, and it will cause efflux of, that means efflux of this norepinephrine and dopamine. That means the amphetamine will go inside the vesicle and it will excrete out or efflux out. It will efflux out the what? Norepinephrine and dopamine. That means as a result it will increase the concentration of dopamine and norepinephrine in the synapse. Yes or no? That means the amphetamine will enter into the vesicles through the vascular monoamine transporter, and it will cause an exchange transportation, you can say. The amphetamine will go inside the vesicles and the norepinephrine and dopamine will come out from the vesicles and it will release in the synapse. As a result, what will happen? As a result, the dopamine and norepinephrine level will increase. Yes or no? So if you see in a simple way, what will be the MOA of amphetamine? What will be the MOA of amphetamine? First, it will cause exchange of transportation. It will cause efflux of norepinephrine and dopamine from vesicles. Yes or no? Through vascular monoamine transporter. Yes. The next, in the synapse, the dopamine or norepinephrine level increase. That means what? Whenever this dopamine and norepinephrine level increase in the synapse, it will cause what? Obviously, whenever there is an increase in dopamine and norepinephrine level in the synapse, it will cause what? CNS excitation. That means whenever the level of norepinephrine, whenever there is a level of norepinephrine and dopamine, increased level of norepinephrine and dopamine, it will cause CNS excitation, or can say CNS stimulation. That means in this way the amphetamine is causing CNS stimulation, like methylxanthine also. Anyone you can in the exam you can write any one mechanism of action, whether you can write methylxanthine, you can write the MOA will be, it is increasing the norepinephrine and dopamine level in the synapse, hence it is causing CNS stimulation. How it is increasing the level? It is through the exchange transportation. It enters in the vesicles and it will cause increased influx of the norepinephrine and dopamine comes out and it increase the concentration inside, they accumulate in the this synapse. Okay, clear? So next will be CNS stimulant is first one is respiratory stimulant, then CNS stimulant. One is convulsion. Convulsion we all know. Convulsion. Third one is convulsion. That means convulsion will open up the sodium channels. Yes or no? It will open up calcium channels. As a result, it will cause neuron firing, or as a result it is CNS stimulation. Yes or no? Convulsions, epilepsy. Clear? Next, CNS stimulant is completed. So CNS stimulant we have studied. First one is this. First one is we have studied. There are different types, na? First one is we have studied this. Yeah. First, here we have studied different types. One is respiratory stimulants, that is doxaprem. How it is stimulating the respiratory center and it is causes bronchodilation, and it is also stimulating the CNS. That means the center, vasomotor center and the respiratory center gets stimulated. The respiratory center and the vasomotor center get stimulated. As a result, it causes respiratory stimulation, and it is also causing, that means CNS stimulation. Next one is psychomotor stimulation, that means increasing the level of norepinephrine and the dopamine, that is the amphetamine. Next is the convulsion, we all know, opening up the sodium channels and calcium channels. Okay, so next we go for the this nootropics. What is nootropics? It enhances the memory. That means it improves the cognitive character of brain. That means it increases the level of what? Related to a memory. Which chemical is responsible? We have studied in this Alzheimer. In Alzheimer, In Alzheimer, what happened? The acetylcholine level gets decreased. Yes or no? In Alzheimer. But here, when you give nootropics, it will increase the level of acetylcholine, and it will also increase the that means it will causes CNS function properly. Yes or no? It is causing CNS functioning properly. The drugs are like the drugs are pyracetam. Pyracetam basically is a nootropic. Okay, basically nootropic is improving the cognitive character of the brain, and it is also increasing the level of acetylcholine in the brain. Okay, that's all for CNS stimulants. It's a very small topic actually. Just focus one MOA. One MOA is enough. Like study for the MOA for the exam. Study for MOA of doxapram, as we have discussed. Next, MOA of amphetamine. Okay, study this. This too is important. And study the pyracetam also. Pyracetam basically it will stimulate the cholinergic receptors. What pyracetam do? Pyracetam basically stimulate the cholinergic receptors in brain, and it is also increasing the acetylcholine action. Okay, and it is also related to GABA. GABA improves the functioning of GABA. So in this way, this is the mechanism of action of pyracetam. Okay, that's all. Thank you.